They were summoned to another world to join a brutal tournament to decide the next god. Yuri is a pathetic loser who's scared for her life. Just some moments ago, she was chilling at school when she saw a masked guy giving some acupuncture lessons. After seeing that, Yuri ran to the rooftop and tried calling her parents, but no one picked up. Finally, her brother picks up her call. She explains that she was at school a moment ago, but now she's on a rooftop in a strange world. Her brother tells her they're in a different world and it's not a dream. They can't get downstairs because the stairs and elevators are blocked, so they must use rope bridges to get around. While they're talking, a girl in another building screams, and Yuri sees her running from someone. The girl's hurt and begging for help, but then a man in a suit and mask with a bat shows up. Yuri's brother says the masked people want to make them despair until they decide to turn into a meat pancake. Feeling trapped and super scared, the girl in the other building jumps and hugs the ground. Yuri understands how things work, and her brother tells her to stay safe and describe her location so he can visit her. But just as she's about to tell him where she is, the white masked man from the beginning tries to attack her. Yuri dodges, but her phone falls. Rika, who's still on the phone, asks what's happening, and the man breaks the phone with his sword. Yuri gets up and starts running to a bridge, but it's shaky, and she's scared. The masked man follows her. Remembering her brother's words, Yuri bravely walks faster and makes it to the other building. But the masked man catches her and points his sword at her. Just as things look really bad, a police officer shoots the masked man and saves Yuri. Another officer named Mizushita appears, and Yuri feels relieved. But then, out of nowhere, Mizushita pushes his boss off the building. He acts all creepy and tells Yuri to undress at sword point. She starts to, but suddenly, a masked man in black aims a sniper rifle at them. Mizushita gets shot, and Yuri takes cover. Mizushita, still alive but hurt, crawls and pleads for help. Yuri figures out that the masked people force others to take their own lives, and if they don't, they get eliminated. The sniper takes one more shot and finishes Mizushita off, but Yuri is determined to survive. She drags Mizushita's body to the corner and raids it for stuff, burns it and decides she has to do whatever it takes to escape. She runs to another building to get away from the sniper, who surprisingly has a picture of Yuri. There, she sees a masked girl on the other side of the building. Yuri takes Mizushita's gun to shoot her but hesitates. She convinces herself that these masked people aren't really people, and she needs to defend herself. The masked girl jumps from the other building to Yuri's building and tries to attack Yuri, but Yuri dodges and starts shooting. She misses, so she pretends to surrender and take her own life, then rushes to the edge of the building and jumps. But when the masked girl gets close, Yuri actually jumps onto the pavement and shoots the masked girl, hitting her in the face. Yuri goes back up and sees the masked girl is still alive, and part of her mask is broken, showing she's a human. Yuri points her gun at the girl, who explains that they're being controlled and warns Yuri never to wear the mask. Yuri doesn't get it and asks for more info. But then, the masked girl gets a command to join the afterlife. Yuri tries to help her, but the girl jumps to a flat ending. Yuri is shocked because she realizes these masked people are humans, not monsters. She screams, feeling like she's losing her mind. Yuri starts hallucinating as she sees Mizushita's ghost, who tells her that the world will drive her crazy. But the ghost vanishes, and Yuri gets up, feeling angry at the people controlling the masked ones. She decides not to forgive them. She takes the masked girl's side but suddenly feels super hungry. She spots a backpack with food and some supplies, as well as another gun. After eating, she puts on the backpack and gets ready to cross the bridge to another building. While crossing the bridge, she sees a helicopter flying by. She's so distracted by it that one of the bridge ropes breaks, almost causing her to fall. But she uses the masked girl's side to save herself. On the other building, she finds a dead woman by the entrance. Yuri realizes her suspicion about a masked person in the building is true. As she approaches the woman's body, she finds a paper in her pocket. It says she can leave this world or go down by heading to the helicopter and entering it, but it can only carry one person. Yuri isn't sure if it's a trap but decides to go for it. Just then, she hears gunshots and goes to see an injured man begging for his life. At first, she thinks the shooter is one of the masked ones, but she soon realizes that a girl named Mayuko is the one aiming at the man. Yuri steps out from where she is hiding and shoots Mayuko's pistol out of her hand, making it fall. She tells Mayuko she wants to talk, but Mayuko just smiles and pulls out a knife, stabbing the man in the neck and eliminating him. Yuri gets really scared. Mayuko challenges Yuri to take her best shot, warning her about how she will make sure no one will stop her from taking the helicopter since it can only carry one person, so they should engage in a death match to determine the survivor. Yuri starts crying and says she doesn't want to fight. Mayuko, seeing Yuri's change in emotion, decides not to start the fight. But then Yuri spots Sniper aiming at them from behind Mayuko. Yuri pushes Mayuko out of the way, saving her from the sniper's shot, and she shoots back at the sniper. Mayuko is surprised that Yuri saved her, and Yuri has a fighter look on her face, so she decides to join Yuri in the fight. They introduce themselves to each other while they watch out for the sniper. The sniper shoots at a knife on the ground, nearly hitting them, but hitting a wall instead. Yuri asks Mayuko if she has a plan, but Mayuko thinks about escaping and leaving Yuri behind. Mayuko thinks of how she's been surrounded by enemies her whole life, and maybe that's why she's used to the life or death situation in this world, which made her eliminate lots of people and masked individuals. After thinking, Mayuko comes up with a plan and tells Yuri to follow her climb the stairs. The masked sniper follows them, but when he reaches the bottom of the stairs, a grenade drops, causing a big explosion. Yuri and Mayuko go to check, and the masked individual is gone. Yuri thanks Mayuko for saving her and calls her a good person for using her last weapon to save them. Mayuko blushes and says she's only repaying Yuri for saving her life. Mayuko asks if she can ride the helicopter. Yuri agrees but gives her an ID to give to her parents in the real world. She also tells them that she will return with her brother when she finds him. Mayuko accepts and leaves. However, she stops and covers Yuri's mouth when they hear a sound, which turns out to be the helicopter. They both run to catch it. Meanwhile, Sniper survives the grenade but is badly hurt. As Yuri and Mayuko climb the stairs, Yuri apologizes for making her lose time, but Mayuko reassures her it's not her fault. They reach the rooftop, but the helicopter takes off. Yuri shoots at it to stop it, but Mayuko says the helicopter is simply following the world's rules by leaving at a specific time. Yuri keeps shooting, and the helicopter turns around to reveal another masked person inside who starts shooting at them. They're not hit as the helicopter finally leaves. Yuri says sorry for making Mayuko miss the helicopter, but Mayuko says she chose to stay willingly. Yuri believes that the helicopter is the world's weak point, which is why the masked person shoots at them so desperately. Yuri decides her new goal is to find allies and steal the helicopter to rule the sky. Mayuko is touched by Yuri's determination, but then Yuri faints. In a different scene, Sniper regains some control over himself because of the cracked mask from the explosion. He can't fully defy commands but remembers something he had to do. He encounters another masked person with an axe. They walk past each other but they don't talk. The axe person suddenly tries to attack him, but the sniper shoots and wins. He realizes he will now be targeted by masked individuals, but he likes the idea of having worthy opponents. The story shifts to a flashback, where Yuri remembers how she ended up in this world after seeing a huge tower at her school. Next thing, she is transported into this world. She suddenly wakes up, and Mayuko is gone, but Yuri's stuff is still there, and she finds some boots nearby. Yuri's gun is missing, and she feels sad that Mayuko left even though she thought she and Mayuko were friends. Yuri sees a masked person outside and starts running. Meanwhile, Mayuko returns and can't find Yuri. Yuri runs to a bridge to escape the masked person with claws, but it's too dark to see. The claw mask keeps chasing her, and two more masked people join in. Yuri tries to get away but is chased by the female masked individuals, but the female masked person falls through a cut in the bridge that Yuri had made on the bridge ropes. She holds on but the claw mask comes and cuts her fingers, which makes her fall from the bridge. Yuri points her pistol at claw mask, but she's got only one bullet left and wants to make it count. She takes her time aiming, but for some reason, her gun won't fire. She gets nervous and keeps going across the bridge, but the masked people are getting closer. She thinks it's all over, but then Mayuko shows up behind the masked ones. Yuri is relieved and takes cover as Mayuko apologizes for her lousy aim. Mayuko starts shooting, but Claw Mask uses the other masked person as a shield. Mayuko runs out of bullets, and Claw Mask goes after her. She tries to throw her gun at him, but it doesn't work. As he gets close, he scratches her with his claw hand. Luckily, Mayuko dodges his attack, with just her clothes getting torn. Claw Mask turns to see Yuri pointing the gun at him, and she starts shooting. Mayuko had thrown the gun earlier because she knew Yuri had a spare magazine in her backpack. Claw Mask falls to the ground. Mayuko tells Yuri he's still breathing. Yuri takes off his mask, and suddenly, she remembers what the masked girl said before she died. Not to look at the back of the masks. She asks the man what happens if you look at the back of the mask. The man explains that if you look, it's like falling into a dream, and your brain gets rewired to follow the mask's commands forever. They can't go back to normal even if the mask comes off. Then, the mask commands the man to take his own life, and he bites his tongue, bleeding to death. Yuri thanks Mayuko for helping her and asks if they can be allies. Mayuko agrees but mentions she might have to betray Yuri if things get too dangerous. Yuri reassures her that it won't come to that, and if it does, Mayuko can run away. This makes Mayuko blush and see how good Yuri is. Yuri starts collecting the masks and destroying them, while Mayuko thinks having Yuri around might help them survive. Yuri wonders about the time, and Mayuko checks her cell phone to find out. Yuri gets excited and asks to borrow her phone. Yuri calls her brother, and he answers. She tells him everything that happened, and her brother says he can track her location with the helicopter info she provided and is on his way to save her. But it will take some time, so she should stay safe. He asks her to do one favor, which is to shoot Mayuko. He explains there are no allies in this world, and it's too dangerous to have a stranger with her. Yuri takes her weapon and shoots Mayuk, but it's in her imagination that scares her. After some thought, she tells her brother that if he keeps saying these things, she'll eliminate him instead. Her brother decides to let it go and says they should focus on rescuing her. He explains they should go to different locations because the helicopter arrives in a new place every day. Yuri agrees, and they need to plan carefully. After the conversation with her brother, Yuri returns the cell phone to Mayuko. Suddenly, Yuri hugs Mayuko, making Mayuko blush and feel nervous. Yuri is still hugging Mayuko, and with tears in her eyes, she apologizes for imagining something strange. As they continue their journey, Yuri leads the way. Mayuko wonders how Yuri can trust a stranger like her in this world and decides to go first on the next bridge. In another scene, Yuri's brother, Rika, walks through a corridor. He meets a masked person and easily takes him out. Rika mentions he acts tough when his sister is around and doesn't like his name. He explains that he can't return the masked individuals to normal, so he's decided to eliminate all of them to save lives, even if he must no longer be the brother Yuri usually praises. Meanwhile, Sniper remembers what he needs to do and remembers a past fight with Rika. He wants to face Rika again and win. Later, Rika meets his allies Akahara and Takeda, who come looking for him since they couldn't reach him on the phone. Rika asks if the other three people are okay, and Takeda explains that although their defenses are weak, they decided to find him, thinking he was in danger. Rika reluctantly agrees to follow them back. Suddenly, a cannonball zooms past Rika after blasting through Takeda's face, eliminating him. Akahara and Rika are shocked and see a masked person in a baseball uniform with more cannonballs. Rika thinks the baseball mask is the strongest he's encountered as the baseball mask throws another cannonball at them at full speed. Rika grabs Akahara's hand, and they start running. Akahara spots an emergency exit door, but it leads to a chasm, and he almost falls, but Rika pulls him back. Rika tries another door, but it's locked, so they're trapped with no way out. Rika comes up with a strategy to defeat the baseball mask, explaining that he's throwing the balls like a pitcher and following the rules of a baseball game. Baseball mask arrives, and Rika asks him to throw a cannonball for him to hit with his sledgehammer. However, the cannonball is too fast for Rika to hit, resulting in a strike. Akahara shoots the lights, making it dark, and throws his helmet, distracting Baseball Mask and allowing Rika to shatter his mask with the sledgehammer. But Baseball Mask grabs Rika's face, saying he won't be the god of this world. Rika breaks free, but he's confused about what Baseball Mask means about being God in this world, leaving him in deep thought. Akahara shoots and eliminates Baseball Mask, after which they leave. The door that was closed before opens, revealing a masked girl who says they're lucky they didn't enter, as she would have had to eliminate them. Rika pays his respects to Takeda's body, and as they continue, he tells Akahara that for their helicopter plan to work, they need to gather allies. Akahara is on alert, thinking about Sniper, but Rika says Yuri already eliminated him. Rika agrees with Yuri's idea to destroy this world completely, no matter what it takes. In another scene change, Sniper walks on a bridge, wobbling and remembering he's afraid of heights. He thinks about why he's so obsessed with defeating Rika. He eliminates a few more people in his way, saying he doesn't want to do this, but he can't disobey the mask's commands. He got his awareness back when his mask cracked, but explains that when you see the despair code on the mask, the command is installed in the brain, forcing him to do the command. After crossing the bridge, he meets a girl who asks if he's okay and can speak. He aims his gun to eliminate her, but the mask orders him to stop, surprising him because it's the first time the mask doesn't want him to eliminate someone. Then, the mask starts explaining that this girl has already reached the level of God's candidate, and that this world is created to produce gods. Those who use the masks are angels with the task of bringing humans closer to becoming God candidates. With this, the command ends. Sniper wants to know why they say the girl is a God candidate, so he asks her if he can ask something. The girl starts crying, but she's happy that he can talk. She tells him her name is Kyuon, and she's scared. The next day, Yuri, who's staying awake to watch out, sees that Mayuko is still sleeping. She hears someone coming and gets her weapon ready. It's a kid with a mask, and he doesn't pay attention to her. He drops a backpack and leaves. Mayuko wakes up, and Yuri tells her what happened. She finds food in the backpack and a knife. Mayuko asks if she can keep the knife, and Yuri says yes. In the afternoon, Rika calls Yuri, but Mayuko picks up the phone because Yuri is napping. Rika says sorry for Yuri's bad sleeping habit, and remembers telling Yuri to harm Mayuko. He apologizes again, which makes Mayuko puzzled. Rika says he'll trust Mayuko and shares his plans, asking her to tell Yuri when she wakes up. Then Rika tells Mayuko he's entrusting her to keep Yuri safe, and Mayuko promises to do just that. Meanwhile, a masked chef is watching Mayuko, planning to target her. Kyuon talks to Masked Sniper and asks if they can team up because she doesn't want to be alone. He refuses but says there are 2 high school girls like her he's looking for and she can join them. Yuri and Mayuko head to the next building and Yuri worries it might be empty and they won't find allies. Mayuko tells her not to lose hope, which cheers Yuri up, and she calls Mayuko her big sister. Mayuko is shocked by the name but happy. Then Mayuko looks over the edge and sees the chef mask. He grabs her and throws her off the building. Mayuko thinks she's going to die, but the chef grabs her leg and throws her through a window below. Yuri realizes Mayuko is missing and goes to look for her. Mayuko must survive this crazy chef mask. She tells him she's going to jump off the building because he can't eliminate someone who chooses has given up. But he says his mask has a defect. He can hear commands but still has free will to do what he wants. He grabs a saw, and Mayuko gets her knife ready. The chef throws his bag, revealing the heads of people he made for dinner. Mayuko remembers her childhood trauma and freezes. The chef gets close, but Yuri, who tied her legs to the railing, shoots at him and snaps Mayuko out of her paralysis. Mayuko is grateful and views Yuri as a god. They think the chef is dead, so Yuri throws her gun and tells Mayuko to come upstairs with it. Mayuko checks the window and sees the chef without his mask getting up, trying to attack her. She eliminates him with her knife. Mayuko and Yuri meet and decide to continue finding more allies. They see a sign looking for allies to create God and end the game. Mayuko finds it fishy, but Yuri thinks they should check it out. Sniper and Kyuon also see the sign and decide to go. Kyuon is excited, and Sniper is only going because he believes the sign knows the secrets of the world. Before they go, Kyuon takes a shower, surprising Sniper. He checks her phone, which she left for him to view the pictures she's taking of the world. But he finds a picture with a code that can make someone a candidate for God. Yuri and Mayuko arrive at the sign's location and meet a masked person. Yuri tries to draw her weapon, but another man with a taser immobilizes her. Another man grabs Mayuko while more men also arrive. The masked person reveals himself and has tape under his mask which prevents the brainwashing. The man explains some masks are known as jackpots which can be used to end this world. They're going to use Yuri to check if the mask with him is one of them. He removes the tape from her mask, but a man in a motorcycle suit arrives and eliminates the man holding Mayuko. He fights and defeats the others with incredible speed. He wants to fight Yuri and she points her gun at him. She tells Mayuko to run, but Mayuko doesn't want to leave her. Mayuko suddenly puts on a mask. Rider Mask asks if Mayuko is now an angel, and his mask affirms to him that she's being controlled. Mayuko starts laughing crazily, and Yuri points her gun at Mayuko but can't shoot her. She accepts that Mayuko should eliminate her, but Mayuko, who had rushed to attack her, turns to cut off the motorcyclist's arm instead. Angry, he tries to punch Mayuko, but she swiftly moves out of the way. But the punch manages to crack Mayuko's mask, and it breaks as she steps back. Mayuko tells Yuri not to worry because she's got a plan. Rider Mask is confused, and his mask says Mayuko is like an angel acting on her own. Mayuko explains that she's wearing the chef mask. The chef mask guy told her it was defective and didn't control his will, so she used it, knowing it wouldn't brainwash her. Rider Mask is furious and attacks Mayuko, but she easily dodges and counterattacks. Yuri is surprised because Mayuko is suddenly moving super fast. Mayuko realizes the mask boosted some of her abilities, but it's not enough to take down Rider Mask. With Yuri distracting Rider Mask using her jacket and grabbing his leg, Mayuko gets the chance to deliver the final blow with her knife. They take Rider Mask's mask off, and he admits he didn't know there were defective masks. He pleads for them to end this world and then he passes away. Yuri apologizes for doubting Mayuko, and Mayuko thanks Yuri for not shooting, which allowed the plan to work. They smash the mask and prepare to leave when a man shows up at the entrance. On the other hand, Sniper and Kyuon are on their way upstairs. Kyuon asks if they'll split up when they meet the other girls. Sniper says yes, he's really curious about Kyuon and how she became a god candidate. They hear voices and hide to eavesdrop on the conversation. Yuri and Mayuko are talking to the man at the entrance, asking him to drop his weapon. He introduces himself as Tanabe and explains that he is making it his mission to eliminate any god candidates. Mayuko impresses Tanabe by slicing his axe in half, showing they're not weak. He asks if Mayuko is a mask, and she says yes. He thinks Yuri might be a god candidate and can control masks, but Tanabe's explanation confuses her. Tanabe then kneels and asks for their help. He mentions how he used to have 4 allies, and they won many battles, but a man named Kazuma ordered a masked girl to eliminate them all. Tanabe is the only survivor, and Kazuma told him to help eliminate anyone trying to end the realm or be eliminated himself. Tanabe accepts but secretly wants revenge on Kazuma. Yuri says they'll help him, and she borrows Mayuko's phone to let her brother know. Tanabe leads them to where Kazuma is. Meanwhile, Sniper and Kyuon watch from a distance. Kyuon suggests following them, but Sniper says they don't need to since he already knows where they're going. Kyuon asks if she can control masks, and she says she can't, which disappoints her. Yuri, Mayuko, and Tanabe arrive at Kazuma's location. Tanabe starts by saying the girls are strong and that he brought them to defeat Kazuma, which surprises Yuri as they initially planned to talk it out first. Kazuma orders his masked girl, Ain, to eliminate them. Ain jumps and attacks Mayuko with her sword, but Mayuko blocks it. They fight briefly, following Yuri's advice to let Ain exhaust herself. Mayuko thinks the plan is working, but Tanabe sees it as a chance for revenge. He tries to attack Ain from behind but fails, and Ain stabs him. As the fight continues, Mayuko realizes Ain is getting tired, and Kazuma notices. When Mayuko is about to defeat Ain, Kazuma orders another masked one, Sui, to attack. Sui aims at Mayuko with a bow, but before she can shoot, Yuri shoots her first, causing her to fall. This shocks Kazuma as he realizes Yuri figured out his plan from the beginning. Yuri had learned about it from Rika when they discussed Kazuma controlling masks. Rika found it strange that Kazuma revealed he could only control one mask, and Ain means one in German, so there must be another. Kazuma panics, takes out a gun, and points it at Yuri, saying he won't be defeated easily. Yuri realizes that if she lets Kazuma go, he'll use more masks to harm people, so she must stop him. She points her gun at him, and Kyuon, watching from a different building, wonders if they can do something to help. Sniper advises against it, saying it's better to let them eliminate each other. Kyuon believes Sniper cares about her, and this makes her happy. She takes out her phone and starts taking pictures and typing. Sniper asks what she's doing, and she says she remembered something and that her weapon is like his, a gun. She raises her phone, and the tallest tower in the world powers up. Turns out it's known as a railgun, and it launches a beam that destroys a building. Kazuma thinks it's Yuri's power and becomes very scared. Yuri realizes they might not have to eliminate each other and tells Kazuma that she's the strongest god candidate. Ain surrenders and Kazuma decides to surrender too. They hear Tanabe coughing, and Yuri asks Kazuma, who claims to be a doctor, to heal him as an act of atonement for the lives he took. Kazuma agrees. Kyuon is relieved that everything worked out and tells Sniper she'd like to control a mask. However, she can only control masks on a similar wavelength to her own. Sniper asks if she can seal the mask commands with her powers, but she can't. She calls herself useless, but Sniper encourages her not to give up. An emotionless mask brings them food, and Kyuon and Sniper start eating but face different directions. While they eat, an emotionless mask explains that a god candidate can become a perfect god and choose between peace and chaos. Only one perfect god can exist in the end. He leaves, and Kyuon stands up, declaring that she'll aim to be the perfect god. Meanwhile, a lady is attacked by masked individuals, but a monk-masked person arrives and takes them out with a single blow, saving the girl. Rika and one of his allies, Yamanami, show up. Rika asks the monk mask if he's being controlled by a god candidate. Surprisingly, a phone rings and the monk mask answers it, handing the phone to Rika, who talks to a boy named Rikuya. Rika realizes Rikuya is the god candidate controlling the monk mask and introduces himself. Rikuya explains how he obtained his powers by finding a mouthless mask in a white box. When he put it on, it transferred a lot of information into his brain and activated a command, making him a god candidate. Rika asks what a perfect god is, and Rikuya apologizes for not knowing but mentions that such a god could grant all wishes. Rika realizes that the mouthless mask is the jackpot mask Yuri talked about. Yuri is talking to her brother on the phone while Mayuko promises herself to do everything she can to protect Yuri. However, Mayuko starts hallucinating and sees herself wearing the mask, warning her that she can stay the way she is forever. This makes her realize the mask is slowly taking control of her. Yuri notices Mayuko is acting strange and approaches her as Mayuko is sleeping while standing up. They sit down to talk, and Yuri suggests they rest because Mayuko might be tired from their recent fight. Yuri also mentions her plan to meet her brother in a building. Mayuko is concerned about leaving Tanabe behind, and Yuri almost forgets about him. Kazuma informs them that Tanabe is out of danger and just needs a few days to recover. Yuri tells him that she and Mayuko will be leaving, so she entrusts everything to him. Ain sneezes, surprising Yuri and Mayuko as Ain removes her mask to allow Kazuma to wipe her nose. Later, as they are on the way, Yuri talks about how cute Ain is and asks Mayuko why Ain can take off her mask briefly. Mayuko replies that she can do so if the mask allows it. Mayuko suddenly wonders how she knows this when she's never heard it before. They hear a scream, and when they cross a bridge to investigate, Mayuko sees her masked self again, and it terrifies her. She starts S-ricking, and Yuri has to hold her up to prevent her from falling. Mayuko lies that she's okay but is determined in her mind not to let the mask control her, at least until Yuri reunites with her brother. Later, they enter a library and spot a masked individual dragging a body. Mayuko attacks him, but he throws the body at her, which she dodges. She declares that they need to eliminate the masked man quickly. Yuri notices something is wrong with Mayuko as she's acting strangely. Mayuko approaches the man and tries to hit him, but he dodges her and strikes her with his bat. Yuri starts shooting at him, but he dodges the bullets. Suddenly, another shot rings out, and the masked man is hit and eliminated. Yuri recognizes the shooting style as belonging to Sniper, so she becomes alert and shoots in all directions as she approaches Mayuko. Mayuko, who is already injured, gets up, and they both flee from the scene. Sniper comments that he hadn't planned to attack them and wanted to talk to them about joining forces. Huon suggests following them, but Sniper is cautious, fearing they might have more grenades. Huon asks to learn more about him, and he shares his oldest memory, which involves meeting Yuri's brother on a rooftop. Sniper believes Rika is his friend, and that's why he wants to meet Rika to confirm it. Huon starts crying upon hearing this. Sniper then recalls that he's forced to wear the mask. He recalls that he was defeated by two masked individuals. In a flashback, a masked girl tells him they don't want to eliminate him at that moment and decides to control him instead. Huon from Sniper's story realizes that the god candidate controlling the masked girl is after the railgun to create chaos in the world. In a different scene, the masked girl from Sniper's story, named Kusakabe, expresses her desire to find the person who fired the railgun, as that person can become the perfect god. Meanwhile, Mayuko and Yuri walk across another bridge. Mayuko realizes that the masked version of herself she keeps seeing is a way the mask is trying to control her. As they enter another building, Yuri mentions how it looks like the one where they first met, and that they've become good friends since then. However, when Yuri turns around, she sees that Mayuko has fainted and is in bad shape. Mayuko feels bad that she's about to lose herself, while Yuri blames herself for pushing Mayuko too hard and starts crying. Later, a masked individual tries to attack them, but Yuri easily shoots and eliminates him. Mayuko tells Yuri that she doesn't regret meeting her but reveals that her mask is broken, meaning the mask will soon give her the order to take her own life. She doesn't want anyone controlling her, so she decides to jump off on her own terms. When she's about to do it, Yuri stops her and insists there must be a solution. However, Mayuko is controlled by the mask and hits Yuri. She starts receiving orders from the mask to eliminate Yuri but refuses to do so. The system orders her into hibernation, causing her to faint. Another masked person named Dealer Mask appears and tells Yuri that she's there to help and as long as Yuri doesn't attack her. She explains that when commands aren't obeyed, the mask owner is put into hibernation and will gradually die. She tells Yuri that Mayuko has a maximum of 2 hours to live and the only way to save her is for Yuri to become a god candidate. She reveals that she is a guardian angel and knows the location of all the masks. She tells Yuri the location of the nearest mouthless mask and that by wearing it, she'll become a god candidate. But it means battling other candidates in the future. Yuri agrees without hesitation, leaving Mayuko in a room. A while later, Sniper and Kyuon arrive and find Mayuko. Kyuon tries to help Mayuko, so she enters her mind to undo the hibernation command. But Mayuko's mask version appears and grabs her. Kyuon manages to break free and commands Mayuko's mask to cease hibernation and give her free will back. But Mayuko suddenly starts falling. When she wakes up, she sees Sniper holding her. Kyuon tells him that when Mayuko wakes up, she'll return to normal. Meanwhile, Yuri is climbing a ladder on a wall to reach the top of a building. She has illusions of what might happen if she falls but refuses to be shaken. She looks down to see she's being chased by another masked individual, so she climbs faster, but on reaching the top, the masked man has caught up with her and steps on her and is about to inject her with something. Yuri screams because she's afraid of needles, and somehow her scream reaches Mayuko's ear, waking her up. The masked guy threatens Yuri with a needle filled with a green substance, and she feels trapped, knowing she can't win against his strength. However, she manages to squirm out from under him because she refuses to give up. On the rooftop, she spots a white box containing the mouthless mask. Though skeptical, she takes the mask, hoping to save her friend Mayuko. She puts it on, and despite initial confusion and fuzziness, the mask informs her of an enemy nearby and grants her the power to immobilize the masked guy. She removes the mask, still bewildered, and witnesses the bad guy moving in slow motion. Thanks to the mask's extra powers that enhance her self-defense capabilities, Yuri seizes the opportunity and tosses the antagonist off the building, surprised by her newfound strength. In the next scene, two masked individuals are engaged in a fight. The monk mask easily defeats the second masked individual, and Rika and his group watch in amazement at the monk's strength. Haruka refers to him as monk and goes to him, but her dad cautions her not to get close to that monster. Despite this, Haruka remains defiant and turns to Rika for support, who advises her not to address him casually. Yamanami, observing their exchange, is grateful to have allies like them. Meanwhile, Kusakabe is examining pictures of the monk mask and Rika's friends. She realizes that the monk mask is being controlled by a god candidate and contemplates getting rid of anyone in her way. Another masked person, known as Swimmer Mask, emerges, holding someone by the neck. He throws the person to the ground, and the desperate individual begs for help. Kusakabe mocks the pleading man and cruelly crushes his head while laughing wickedly. She then reveals that she has dispatched 5 people to go after the god candidate. Yuri puts on the mouthless mask again, which takes her to a place she doesn't recognize. She thinks it's a dream, but the program in the mask tells her it's a world inside her brain. The system begins the installation process, and the program assures her that, except for the Destroy Mask command, her consciousness, mind, and actions won't be controlled. The program explains the abilities of a god candidate, saying they're installed in her brain, but their accessibility depends on compatibility. Some powers are readily available, while others may be harder to use. The program highlights the self-reinforcing ability that can be used at will. Yuri's primary goal is to save Mayuko, and she asks if it's possible. The program mentions cerebral interference as a basic ability but emphasizes that success depends on her strength. Yuri understands that wearing the mask alone won't guarantee her significant powers. The installation process completes, and Yuri returns from the trance. She notices the broken mask on the floor and realizes that as a god candidate, she doesn't feel different, but something is inside her. She decides to go after Mayuko and starts running. Yuri receives a call from Mayuko, who surprises her. Mayuko reassures Yuri it's really her and shares that another god candidate passing by saved her, so she won't be mind-controlled anymore. Yuri is relieved and assures Mayuko she could never be mad at her. Mayuko then informs Yuri that there's another issue to deal with besides the god candidate and warns her to be careful. Mayuko ends the call and faces Sniper and Kyuon. Kyuon looks scared, and Sniper is surprised, wondering if Kyuon can't control Mayuko. Kyuon explains they're not on the same wavelength. Mayuko thanks them for saving her but says she still doesn't trust them and demands a full explanation while they wait for Yuri. Meanwhile, Yuri is getting excited about going to see Mayuko and how they'll be unbeatable with her new powers, Mayuko's strength, and the god candidate who saved her. She realizes she's getting too worked up and tries to calm down. She also spots the building Rika is heading for, Ikebukuro, and decides to unite with them no matter what. In the next scene, Rika and his crew are with Haruko's father, trying to maintain order among the group. Akahara keeps a watchful eye on their surroundings. Rika ensures everyone's safety, and Rikuya senses Rika's genuine presence. When Haruko spots Rikuya, she shouts and waves at him, sparking joy in Rika as he realizes he can trust Rikuya. Rika expresses their greatest enemy is the ill-intentioned god candidate, who is determined to eliminate any obstacles on their path to becoming god. Meanwhile, Kusakabe watches Rika's group from a distance and reports to her master, stating that Swimmer Mask and the other 5 are in position. She orders Racket Mask to throw a tear gas grenade. The gas begins to descend toward Rika and his crew. Rika urgently instructs everyone to close their eyes and not breathe. But it's too late, and the gas affects them. Kusakabe orders a Halberd Mask to after Monk. The fight begins with Halberd Mask making the first move. Despite the gas stinging and blurring his vision, Rika defends the group with his sledgehammer and encourages the others to escape to the building where Ruki is, assuring them that he'll buy them time by confronting the enemy. Rika notes that there are currently only 2 enemies in play, Halberd Mask and Racket Mask. Haruko, who's already on the bridge with her father, suggests returning to help Rika, but her father advises her to cross the bridge. Suddenly, an aristocratic mask flies over their heads to go help Rika. The Halberd Mask shatters Haki's hammer, leading to a bare-handed battle to prevent the spear from splitting his head in half. Aristocratic Mask intervenes, eliminating Halberd Mask just as he's about to harm Rika. Rika's crew is relieved, realizing that Ruki controlled Aristocratic Mask to rescue them. The first ambush by the enemies has failed, and Rika is ready for another attack, recognizing that their chances of winning have improved with Ruki controlling his masks. Afterward, Kusakabe talks to someone on the phone and is scolded for underestimating Rika's team because they are humans. She promises to relay a message to Swimmer Mask and sends 3 support masks to fight. 3 masked individuals attack simultaneously. Riku is shocked by the enemies sending 3 angels at once and wonders how many masks they can control. Rika is in bad shape, losing a lot of blood and falling unconscious, but the group continues to fight while trying to help him. Ruki, seeing Rika in trouble, becomes worried, and Haruko also senses Rika's dire situation, asking Sato to look over him. Aristocratic Mask eliminates one of the enemy masks, while Swimmer Mask approaches Sato. Monk tries to intervene but is overpowered by Swimmer Mask, who proceeds to stomp on Monk's head, eliminating him. The crew witnesses this horrifying act, and Swimmer Mask seizes Rika and makes a run for it. Kusakabe is not pleased that her master wants a mere human, but she obeys because she is controlled by a god candidate. Ruki is shaken by the outcome of the fight and begins to doubt himself. The scene starts with Yuri getting a call from Yamanami about Rika being kidnapped. He tells her they lost track and can't find him. Yuri gets mad and squeezes her phone so hard it breaks. Her anger somehow triggers her mask powers, and she really wants to find her brother. She starts forgetting things as her mind revolves around just finding Rika. Kyu-on with Mayuko, and Sniper hears a faint scream. Mayuko tries to call Yuri but it doesn't go through, so she runs to find her, leaving Sniper and Kyu-on behind. Mayuko blames herself for not going to get Yuri and realizes she forgot how dangerous the world is. She's really worried something might happen to Yuri and screams for her. Yuri hears Mayuko's screams faintly but ignores them as she's focused on finding her brother. Then she remembers Mayuko and screams for her. Mayuko hears Yuri and starts running in her direction but spots a masked man with a grenade launcher. He shoots at Mayuko and she realizes she shouldn't be on a rope bridge, but it's too late. Fortunately, Sniper saves Mayuko just in time. Sniper then looks for the attacker and shoots, but the bullet doesn't hit the mask off as Dagger Mask blocks it. Sniper is fixated on eliminating the grenade launcher mask and recognizes the knife guy as an ally of those who masked him. Dagger Mask isn't fazed by Sniper's shot and tells the grenade launcher mask to shoot Mayuko to check if she's another god candidate. Kyu-on thinks about using the railgun but is worried they'll discover she's controlling it. She decides to save Mayuko no matter what. The grenade launcher mask is about to shoot Mayuko, but suddenly someone shoots him, which makes him fall to the ground. Dagger Mask is furious, wondering who it is. Mayuko is perplexed about who saved her, and then Yuri jumps down with a gun in hand. Mayuko is surprised as she hears Yuri's voice from miles away, and wonders how she got there so quickly. Yuri thanked Mayuko for calling her name as it helped her find them. She warns that the enemies aren't dead yet and pulls out a second gun to fight with. Mayuko recognizes the gun Yuri wants to use but she says she can't use it because it's too heavy and asks about it. Yuri reassures her as she's now Super Yuri. Dagger Mask tells the grenade launcher mask to get up and eliminate them. Despite struggling to recover, the grenade launcher mask fires 5 grenades. Mayuko is worried and tells Yuri they must run. Sniper gets ready to counter the grenades, and Mayuko hopes Yuri will take cover. Yuri, instead, points her guns at the grenades in the air and uses her strengthening ability to shoot all 5 of them, eliminating the grenades. They are all shocked, and Dagger Mask is terrified. Mayuko admits Yuri was a great shooter, but she's amazed by her new incredible strength. Yuri mentally apologizes to her brother, saying she hasn't forgotten him and will find him with Mayuko's help. The grenade launcher mask falls for good after Sniper takes a headshot. Yuri is surprised but calms down when Mayuko explains Sniper is an ally. Sniper still wants to eliminate Dagger Mask but can't get a shot. Dagger Mask, on the other hand, is terrified and decides that he will make a call and prevent him from dying. He makes a call to that person and is about to describe the situation when Sniper shoots him in the head from the wall of a building and Dagger Mask is eliminated. Yuri tells Mayuko she's still scared of Sniper and unsure if she can beat him if he becomes their enemy again. Mayuko calms her and demands an explanation of everything that happened when she was unconscious and how Yuri got her powers. Yuri giggles, gives her a hug, and explains how she put on the mask. She says the mask enhanced her powers but doesn't fully understand it yet. Kyuan introduces herself to Yuri, and they shake hands, generating some rays. Kyuan says she's a god candidate too and has a message from Sniper. He tells them to leave the area because they just had a big battle and he is staying away in case Yuri has activated her powers to control masks. Yuri is shocked by Sniper's words and asks about his memories. Kyuan explains they're still fuzzy and he seems to be suffering. Yuri tells Kyuan her goal to bring peace and asks about Kyuan's goal. Kyuan wants peace too and wants to save someone precious, thinking about Sniper. Mayuko interrupts and urges them to keep moving. Yuri teases Mayuko with pet names, and they laugh. On the other side, Swimmer Mask takes Rika to the headquarters where the one controlling the masks is. Rika asks if he remembers anything, but Swimmer Mask just shakes his head. Inside, Rika meets the god candidate, Mamoru, who welcomes him as a hostage and introduces himself. Rika introduces himself to Mamoru, who mockingly laughs at his name. They discuss their beliefs, with Mamoru sharing his idea that only the strong should survive, and that becoming God will let him change the world. Mamoru asks if Rika has similar thoughts, but Rika considers Mamoru crazy and contemplates talking him out of it or finding a way to eliminate him. Mamoru reveals he brought Rika to have a smart human ally and hints at eliminating Rika slowly if he doesn't cooperate. A masked individual threatens Rika with a blade to prove Mamoru's point. Rika asks about the number of masks Mamoru controls, and Mamoru says 30. They then head to the rooftop, where Mamoru talks about his delusions and a plan involving using the helicopter to reach the tallest tower. Rika realizes Yuri's idea that capturing the helicopter can guarantee one being God was right. In the next scene, Yuri informs Mayuko and Kyuan about her brother's kidnapping. Kyuan is about to ask about the relationship between Sniper and Rika when they hear a helicopter approaching. Yuri decides to test her plan to steal it, but the helicopter changes course. In another scene, the helicopter arrives at the building where Rika and Mamoru are. An angry mask appears but receives an order and leaves. Mamoru explains these masks are guardian angels programmed to prevent the birth of a perfect god. They are the greatest obstacle to becoming God by preventing them from reaching the helicopter. Meanwhile, the dealer mask stands on a building, observing the movements of the helicopter. She notes that there are likely many God candidates in the area, and speculates whether Yuri might be one now. She acknowledges that it's a tough situation for Yuri but has no doubt she'll get through it. Meanwhile, Rika is talking to Mamoru and asks if the guardian angels avoid God's candidates to prevent the helicopter from being stolen. Mamoru affirms this but expresses that they don't pose a threat to him. Rika doesn't look surprised by this revelation. Mamoru makes a call to a team of masked individuals called the West Squad. He instructs them to monitor the helicopter's landing zone and eliminate anyone who goes near the helicopter landing. Rika realizes that Mamoru must have his masked men stationed all over. With his forces dispersed, Rika sees this as an opportunity to strike and thinks they might win. Rika is surprised as Mamoru then summons two huge masked men, Ishida and Inao, who appear behind Rika. Rika is surprised as he hasn't seen masks like these before. Mamoru assigns Ishida and Inao to accompany him while Volleyball and Servant Mask will monitor Rika. He instructs them to obey Kyusuke when she returns and warns Rika that an angel who can speak will come to question him. He leaves Rika with a death threat if he tries anything funny, emphasizing that he doesn't want to lose a smart person like Rika but will eliminate him if needed. Mamoru speaks with Kyusuke, instructing her to interrogate Rika on the rooftop and informing her that Dagger Mask is dead, suspecting the railgun user may be involved. Mamoru plans to deploy White Feathers and the Superior Angels to eliminate other god candidates, and Kyusuke agrees with his strategy. In another scene, Sniper stands over the corpses of the Grenade Launcher Mask and Dagger Mask, holding their phones. Memories of his past with Rika resurface, but he senses White Feathers aiming at him. A battle ensues, where Sniper discovers his super agility as he can dodge her bullet. He fires at her and she dodges it too. They were about to engage in Sniper's shootout. However, White Feathers shoots the bridge, causing it to collapse, putting Sniper in a precarious situation. The fight between Ain and White Feathers continues, but White Feather kicks Ain in the face. Yuri sees that the girl is strong, and Mayuko worries about Ain's stamina. A gunshot distracts both Ain and White Feathers, and they see that Sniper managed to climb back up. He takes a shot at White Feather but misses. White Feathers decides to run away, and Sniper, although he aims at her head, lets her go. Kazuma runs to meet Ain, expressing relief that she's okay. He also sees Yuri at the other building. They return to meet Tanabe and a young boy named Yuzuki. He tells them that they will be meeting Yuri soon. Sniper is on a call, assuring someone, likely Kuon, that he will meet them but can't be with them because he's a mask and will be ordered to attack any humans he sees, Tanabe being one. Sniper imagines what will happen if Kuon, Mayuko, and Yuri are attacked. Kuon will likely be eliminated first. Surprisingly, he worries about Kuon's safety, despite finding her annoying. Mamoru talks to White Feathers, expressing disappointment in her failure to eliminate her targets, especially Sniper. White Feathers recalls the moment when Sniper asked her to shoot him, affecting her aim. Mamoru tells her to contact him when she has another rifle. Mamoru acknowledges that Yuri and Kuon are together in the east and speculates about their use of the railgun. He discusses his determination to build a stronger force of angels and prevent others from becoming perfect gods with his subordinate, Kijima, who agrees with his plans. Later, Yuri's group is in front of a building, and Yuri asks Kuon how she activated the power to not be attacked by masks. Kuon is shocked by the question, but Yuri explains that she just wants to know because it would be nice not to worry about mask attacks. Kuon tells her that she doesn't know and might have unconsciously activated her ability. They enter a building with Yuri looking out for danger, and Kuon following behind when Mayuko mentions that Kuon wants to use the restroom, even though Kuon didn't say so. Mayuko insists, and Kuon eventually agrees. In the restroom, Mayuko asks Kuon if she's in love with Sniper. Kuon is flustered by the question and starts to fangirl over Sniper, praising his looks and attitude. Mayuko also asks if Kuon is the one controlling the railgun, and Kuon confirms it. Mayuko is surprised but says she must tell Yuri about it. The enemy will start targeting her if they realize she controls the railgun, which is also needed to be the perfect god. As they hear a noise from outside, they rush out to check on Yuri. They see her being thrown around. She informs them to stay back as another masked individual has appeared. Yuri tells them it's a free mask, and while they shouldn't be too worried, he's a strong sumo wrestler. Yuri's gun jams, so Mayuko takes out her knife while Yuri takes out her scythe. The masked man keeps shouting, "Eliminating me," and Yuri and Mayuko decide to grant his wish and eventually defeat the masked individual by slashing his throat. Yuri remarks that it was a hard battle, but they must survive to save the world. Kuon is in shock, realizing she hasn't witnessed a fight to the death before. She worries about her ability to save the world, feeling that she might be a burden as Yuri says they must continue fighting to stay strong. Sniper appears, commenting on Yuri's words. Yuri is so scared of Sniper that she hides behind Kuon, who is flushed to see him. Kuon asks why Yuri fears Sniper, and Yuri says she can't stop being afraid even though he's an ally now. Yuri runs off to the restroom, claiming she needs to pee. Sniper chuckles, saying she must be traumatized by him. He's somewhat relieved she's gone because she distracts him. Kuon asks if he knows Yuri, but Sniper explains that while Yuri is strong, she's still a high school girl who has faced many struggles and overcame them. Sniper returns their belongings, and Mayuko thanks him. He also hands them Dagger Mask's phone, saying they can use it to figure out who the enemy is. Kajimi is seen giving a phone to Mamoru with a picture of a building where Kuon and the rest of the group are. On the other hand, we see Kazuma's group meeting up with Yuri, who greets them warmly. An energy surge occurs as they shake hands, surprising Kazuma, and Yuri laughs and explains that it happens when god candidates make contact. Mayuko and Tanabe wonder why Yuri is acting strangely, but they don't mind. Kazuma introduces Yuzuki to Yuri, explaining that he also treated Yuzuki's wounds. Yuzuki fears Yuri and hides behind the doctor, making Yuri a little sad, but she smiles and chats with the group. In another scene, Kuon asks Sniper if he thinks their enemies are still forcing people to wear masks, and he confirms that they are. She mentions that if they knew the enemy's location, she could use her ability to blast it. However, she can't as she tells him that Rika has been taken as a hostage. Sniper is shocked by the news. Meanwhile, Kusakabe interrogates Rika about the god candidate who controls 5 angels. She questions him about Rikuya's lack of knowledge of the railgun and his intention to not become a perfect god. Rika responds truthfully, saying all her statements are true. He asks Kusakabe not to hurt his friends, and she uses her powers to confirm that he's telling the truth by reading his brain activity. Rika realizes that the masks can read their brain activity and decides to divert her attention to Rukia's thoughts to keep Yuri a secret. Kusakabe receives a call from Kijima, who informs her that White Feather can't eliminate Sniper, which makes Rika nervous. Kusakabe notices Rika's reaction and tells Kijima that she'll call him soon with an update as she's gathering information bit by bit from Rika. She ends the call, faces Rika, and asks about his relationship with Sniper. Rika admits that he knows Sniper but shares that Sniper lost his memory when he put on the mask in this route. However, she realizes he's telling the truth, but he seems to be hiding something from her. Kusakabe can't fully read his thoughts, so she decides to tease him to break his composure. To test Rika, she confesses that she's the one who put the mask on Sniper, and this upsets Rika. She's glad her plan is working, expecting Rika to reveal what he's been hiding. However, Rika starts laughing and bangs his head on the floor, bleeding. He concludes that from Kusakabe's explanation, an angel's strength is determined by the host's strength. Giving Sniper a rifle mask made him strong, and he's sure Sniper will overpower all 30 of them. Kusakabe can tell he's not lying, but she doubts him, thinking he's just guessing. She's not entirely sure. Rika smiles, satisfied that he's successfully steered her attention towards Ruki and Sniper, making it more likely to keep Yuri a secret. He falls unconscious, and Kusakabe becomes concerned about Mamuro's reaction if Rika dies. She orders Volleyball Mask to take Rika to the medical facility. In this part of the story, Sniper talks to Kuon about Rika's kidnapping and his belief that he can rescue him. He's worried about going into hibernation like Mayuko, and asks Kuon to take care of him if that happens. Kuon is delighted by this request. The scene shifts to Kazuma, who is with Yuri. He tells her about the need to eliminate those who want to harm the god candidates, as they've been under attack. Yuri agrees, seeing that she and the doctor may share the same enemy. She wishes she had an older mind to seek advice from and misses her brother. Mayuko gets a call from Kuon, informing her that Sniper is going into hibernation and requesting to speak with her. Yuri and Sniper have a private conversation, during which he shows her a wallet with her picture and explains he's a friend of her brother but has few memories of his past. He wanted to the wallet that fell from her brother. They share a tea, and Sniper takes off his mask briefly to drink his tea, revealing his handsome face. But she says she doesn't recognize seeing him with her brother. Sniper talks about the phone he gave Kuon, which might help find their enemy. He advises Yuri to prioritize her well-being if things get difficult, and then goes into hibernation, leaving Yuri touched by his support. Mamuro instructs his student mask to find a stronger player than Sniper instead of locating the enemy. Meanwhile, Mayuko and Kuon enter Sniper's mind to help him recover from hibernation. They find themselves in a dreamlike field and meet a younger version of Sniper. Kuon uses her god's command power to restore Sniper's program, but he still can't remove his mask due to the command, as she couldn't erase that part. Young Rika is also present in the dream, and they discover Sniper's real name is Yu. They leave the dream as young Rika cries, not wanting young Yu to go. Yuri, with Tanabe's help, repairs their weapons and prepares to rescue Rika. She bonds with Yuzuki over their love for guns and hears screams from another building. Yuri rushes to protect it, taking down masked attackers in an intense battle. Meanwhile, the student mask has been following Yuri and witnesses the entire fight. Yuri is upset because she couldn't save the lady who passed away, even though she's now strong. As she kneels beside the lady, the student mask, who's still outside, sends a message to Mamuro. He visualizes receiving praise from Mamuro for eliminating Yuri and enters the room. He yells and throws knives at Yuri, but she manages to dodge them and hide. The student mask continues talking about his devotion to Mamuro while chasing Yuri and throwing knives at her. Although Yuri loses sight of him for a moment, he reappears and continues attacking her. The student mask is thrilled about his newfound talking ability and keeps pursuing Yuri. Yuri thinks he's crazy, especially because he won't stop talking about Mamuro. Out of nowhere, someone throws a knife at student mask, and it's Mayuko who ends up pinning him. Mayuko tells Yuri she's glad she finally found her, and that she couldn't call her because Yuri had her phone. She says Kuon and Sniper are still together at the building. Mayuko takes off the mask, and Yuri points her gun at him, asking who Mamuro is. The masked man says Mamuro is his boss and wants to change the world. He He believes the winner will be Mamuro, who will change everything and restore humanity. Yuri still thinks he's talking nonsense and sounds crazy, but realizes that Mamuro is the enemy they've been looking for. She declares that she's going to defeat Mamuro and reject all his twisted ideologies. He calls her crazy and tries to belittle her, but Yuri kicks him in the face and knocks him out. Meanwhile, Mamuro and Kamiji are planning to attack Sniper and Yuri's group with Kusakabe, Swimmer, and Great Angel, a psychotic mask. Sniper wakes up from his hibernation and sees that Kuon is asleep beside him. He hopes Rika is still alive. In another scene, Rika is in the infirmary with a head injury, and Kusakabe is watching over him. She sees Swimmer eliminating someone from the window and warns him to stop, but she knows Swimmer isn't a psychotic executioner like Great Angel, who sees everything as evil and has a strange sense of justice. She recalls when Mamuro approached him to join them, but Great Angel refused to listen and tried to attack. Mamuro managed to use his power to stop the attack and used all his might to gain control over Great Angel, sealing his abilities. Meanwhile, China Mask, Ruki's angel, takes photos of Rika's location and sends them to him. Ruki quickly figures out it's the enemy base, and that Rika must be there. Yuri and Mayuko return to the building, and Yuri asks Sniper if he's okay. He confirms that he is and is even looking at her without triggering the despair command. Yuri is happy with his response. Mayuko asks about Kuon, and he tells her she's asleep. In another scene, Rika wakes up and sees Kusakabe, Swimmer, and Dai heading to another location. Rika comments on the rain, but Kusakabe says it's no big deal, and it's a secret why they're going. Dai blurts out that they're going to eliminate evil, earning him a scolding from Kusakabe. They leave Rika with the servant Mask, and he wonders who Dai is. Yuri, Sniper, and Mayuko are thinking about Mamuro's next move when Yuri receives a text from Yamanami with her brother's location. Sniper and Mayuko overhear her reading the text. She's happy about the news but is so emotional that she can't think clearly, and Ruki and his group are waiting for her to give them directions on their next move. Sniper tells her to calm down, but he's not very calm himself. She listens to him and says they both need to stay calm. Kusakabe and her comrades are heading towards Yuri's location, and China Mask informs them about it. Yuri tells Sniper that Mamuro is sending them in small groups. On the other hand, Kazuma meets Yuri and tells her that the student mask she captured is under Mamuro's control. He tried to access his brain for information but couldn't. However, he gained a new ability to immobilize an angel's movement. Yuri is surprised, and Kazuma says he hasn't tried it yet. Sniper volunteers to be tested, and Kazuma uses his power, but it seems like it doesn't work because Sniper keeps moving normally. Sniper reassures him that it did work for a moment and tells him not to be disappointed because it could be helpful in a fight. Yuri wants to tell the doctor the whole truth, and Sniper takes food to Kuon and asks if she's ready for the upcoming battle. Kuon says yes. Sniper realizes that Kuon is closer to God than he thought. While they're eating, Kazuma remembers the true conversation Yuri had with him and doesn't seem pleased. Yuzuki asks why he agreed to cooperate so quickly, and he says supports Yuri's ideologies more than Mamuro. Everyone eats, prepares, and heads to the enemy's location. Sniper reminds them that their trump card is the railgun. As the battle begins, Kasukabe is starting, but Sniper recognizes Kasukabe as the one who put the mask on him, and he gets really upset. He points his weapon at her, but just as he's about to shoot, Yuzuki calls her mom, and Sniper hesitates, missing his shot. Kasukabe already spotted them and threw a tear gas grenade, blurring Sniper's vision and making him drop his weapon. Then, Sniper asks Yuzuki to tell his story. On the other hand, Yuri, Mayuko, and Ain are fighting Dai and Swimmer, but Yuri doesn't recognize Dai, and she wonders why he's acting strangely. Dai takes out his cell phone and contacts Mamuro to explain the situation. Mamuro tells him he's going to unleash his seal and starts mentioning 7 keywords. Dai begins to glow and emit energy from his body, transforming into a larger, more powerful masked figure called the Great Angel. Mamuro tells him the building's location and suggests that he should defeat the masked individuals in front of him if he wants revenge for being controlled. The Great Angel mistakenly believes that Yuri's group is Mamuro's allies, grabs a metal bar, and gets ready to fight. He creates a big hole by striking the metal on the floor and leaves Yuri's group, going straight for Mamuro. Ain chases after him, and Yuri tells Mayuko to go after her while she deals with Swimmer. Mayuko is reluctant but agrees, warning Yuri that she won't forgive her if she gets hurt. As Mayuko leaves, Swimmer throws something at Yuri, which she dodges. She recognizes him as the one who took Rika and vows to destroy him. In the beginning, the dealer mask has been watching the city from a distance, waiting for the war to begin. Kasukabe is distracted by hearing Yuzuki's voice calling her mom. Meanwhile, Dai climbs the building where Mamuro is supposedly located, causing the structure to shake, which puzzles Kazuma. Sniper spots Daya and aims for his head, but Daya catches the bullet with just 2 fingers, impressing Sniper. Daya feels insulted that Mamuro hired a retired hitman to fight him, thinking Sniper is on Mamuro's side. Daya enters the building to start his manhunt. On the rooftop, Sniper, Yuzuki, and Kyuon are present. Sniper is still thinking about Daya's lightning-fast reflexes when he notices Kyuon having a panic attack. She's frozen with fear, and Sniper reassures her, saying he'll protect her and that she doesn't need to worry about fighting. Kyuon admits she's terrified. Ain tries to attack Daya while he's eating their leftovers, but he effortlessly dodges all her attacks. He finishes his meal without breaking a sweat and prepares to fight her. Ain notices that Daya is too fast and her attacks aren't working, but she refuses to give up. She attempts another attack, flying up to strike Daya with her sword, but he counters her mid-air, breaking her sword with little effort. He's about to finish her off when he notices Mayuko and Kazuma's presence. Ain uses the opportunity to escape, and Daya calls Kazuma an evil scientist and declares his intention to destroy him. Kazuma uses his newly unlocked ability to immobilize Daya, surprising him, but it only works for a split second. Ain and Mayuko quickly try to use their blades to eliminate Daya, realizing they have an advantage, but he escapes with just some minor cuts. Daya employs the bullet he caught from Sniper to attack Kazuma, flicking it at him, and Ain tries to save him, but it's too late. Kazuma is injured, and Ain leaves with him, leaving Mayuko to face Daya alone. Mayuko activates her mask program and asks if there's a way for her to defeat Daya. The program confirms that there is, but that it requires 3 minutes to execute defragmentation tools, instructing her to buy time. Daya doesn't give Mayuko much space to anticipate his moves, launching an attack that sends her flying across the room, hitting a wall and damaging her eardrums. Her program informs her that her eardrums are fully repaired, and she'll be fine, but still needs 2 minutes and 42 seconds left for the full execution. Mayuko tries to buy more time. Daya is about to launch another attack when Tanabe suddenly appears in the room with his spear, grabbing Daya's attention. Daya is confused by Tanabe and remarks that he's like him but more intense, providing Mayuko with an opportunity to complete the defragmentation execution. Mayuko's program advises her to clear some space in her head to speed up the process, assuring her that her memories won't be affected as she will be erasing her and nothing else. Mayuko follows the instructions. The defragmentation process is now complete. Daya, who has already incapacitated Tanabe, emerges from the room to find Mayuko glowing and ready to face him. She launches attacks from all angles, and Daya blocks them all, but she doesn't give up. She fights for Yuri and doesn't mind losing her humanity if Yuri is by her side. Daya admits she's grown stronger, but he will still win. Meanwhile, Yuri is still in a fight with Swimmer, who manages to block all her shots. Suddenly, Swimmer stops blocking Yuri's shots, dons his swimming goggles, and dives into thin air. Yuri is confused about where he went and what his next move might be. Then, he appears behind her, ready to crush her, but her abilities kick in, and she uses her elbow to break his mask. He bleeds, and she shoots him 3 times in the chest, defeating him. Swimmer dies wondering if his life had any meaning while Yuri goes to look for Mayuko. Sniper is still trying to calm Kyuon, who's having panic attacks. Yuzuki worries that they must run away and leave everyone behind. Sniper reassures Yuzuki, saying he's just a kid who doesn't understand the complexities of the situation. He knows that running away is the right choice, but he will come back for the others. But Yuzuki doesn't want to leave. Kyuon says she can't stop shaking and starts glowing. Kyuon's panic attack reduces as she feels Sniper feelings, and he admits that he doesn't want to die without protecting them. His words seem to comfort Kyuon. Mayuko is still in her fight with Daya, who praises her for making him put in more effort but claims she's still no match for him. He's about to launch a big attack when his injured knees buckle and Mayuko realizes all her fight wasn't in vain. Mayuko throws a knife outside and jumps out of the window while shouting a secret phrase, "I can't take it anymore." Yuri hears it and quickly recognizes it as the signal phrase. Sniper instructs Kyuon to use her power to shoot as he gives the precise location of Mayuko's signal, and she reloads the railgun, shooting the Great Angel. The dealer mask is shocked by their strategy, as they seem to have shot the railgun at themselves. Kasuke sees this and tries to call Mamuro but receives a shot that shatters her phone. She realizes Sniper was the one who shot her, and when she looks at Yuzuki beside him, it triggers some memories. She receives a powerful electric shock and walks away. Sniper takes it as a positive sign and apologizes to Yuzuki, who reassures him. Kyuon says their enemy might still be alive, and they need to head to the battlefield to confirm. Mayuko sees the Great Angel emerging from the rubble, surprised that he's still alive after that attack. He mentions that he's too weak but still has the strength to eliminate her. As he approaches Mayuko, ready to strike her with his bar, Yuri intervenes and delivers a blow to the Great Angel. She then takes out her weapon and is about to eliminate him. The program in her mask informs her that it has unlocked a new ability, the power to control an angel, and her wavelength matches that of the Great Angel in front of her. Mayuko, waiting for Yuri to fire at Daya, asks why she isn't doing so, and Yuri informs her about the update. A spy from Mamuro hears Mayuko call Yuri Hunjo and rushes to tell him. The program also states that to control the Great Angel, she first needs to seal his powers because he's too powerful. However, Yuri decides she needs to eliminate him because he's an enemy. Tanabe steps in and tells her she's done well and doesn't need to eliminate Daya, who is still young and doesn't seem all that bad. Daya realizes his mistakes and tells Yuri to do as she wishes, but Yuri informs him that she's trying to change this world. She agrees with Tanabe and seals the Great Angel's powers, causing him to shrink. The news of Yuri and her group's victory reaches Rukia and his group, and they celebrate, knowing that now they only must save Rika. Yuri's group declares victory in this battle for the moment. However, they suffered casualties, with Kazuma losing his life due to Daya's actions. Before his death, Kazuma ordered Ain to obey Yuri from now on. Rika receives a phone call from Mamuro, who tells him that Sniper is indeed strong, and they can't eliminate him. Rika is proud of his friend but goes into a small shock when Mamuro mentions Yuri. He tries to deny it, but Mamuro already knows the truth and says he will threaten Rika's life to force Yuri to surrender. Rika shouts and tells him to try and eliminate her if he can. Yuri, with her allies, promises to rescue her brother soon. Rika, on the other hand, boasts to Mamuro that he can't defeat Yuri or Sniper. Mamuro expresses his disappointment in Rika and shows him a red code which causes Rika pain. Watch this next video. See you on the next one.